you have spoken like someone who has been in the lion's den. Was that the Shark Tank version of Kenya? Which one dear was it?
So funny enough,
Yeah.
Zeddy, I have been on Lion's Den,
Oh, you have?
but not as a judge. I was actually there pitching. One dear was one of the
Judges.
judges
Yes.
on Lion's Den
Yes.
when I was pitching. But this was for a different company
Oh.
a couple of years ago.
It's a very small world.
Yes.
What do you believe is the future of fashion retail in Africa? And what can you advise founders and small businesses and even medium businesses to adapt to so that they can evolve and still remain competitive in this market?
I think it's to be open-minded to the changes that will come and that are coming. I think one of the advantages for Africa being a so-called third world is sometimes we can see some things happening in other markets, and then they will happen 2 to 3 years later or 5 years later in Africa.
What do you wish people would understand more in terms of AI and African fashion?
I would say that how AI will affect African fashion, there is a couple of different ways. I think like we mentioned about designers. If designers are able to make new, unique designs faster, you're able to go faster and farther.
Quick one before we dive in. On the back end of our YouTube channel, it tells us that nearly 90% of you watch our content but haven't subscribed yet. If the Power Dialogue Africa has ever inspired you, please hit that subscribe button. It makes a massive difference and it helps us reach more people, scale production, and keep bringing you stories that truly matter. That's my promise to you. I'll keep raising the bar with every single episode. Now, let's talk about today's guest. In Kenya, thousands of creative brands are born every single year, but too many don't make it past their second birthday. Not because they lack talent or vision, but because the system is hard. The costs are high, the logistics messy, and the digital space, it often feels like it's built for everyone except us. And then there's technology, this big scary thing called AI, which so many fear will take away jobs. But what if it could actually create more opportunity if we learned how to use it right? My guest today has been asking those same questions and answering them through action. Allan Matata, the CEO of ShopZetu, is one of the trailblazers proving that fashion, technology, and Kenyan creativity can thrive together. ShopZetu has become more than an online store. It's a lifeline for upcoming brands, a digital runway for shoppers, and a platform proving that Africa can build for itself and win. I am your host, Zeddy Bariti, and this is the Power Dialogue Africa, where we spotlight African excellence and share stories shaping the next generation of bold and visionary leaders. At the Power Dialogue Africa, we believe in celebrating legacies that inspire progress, and there's no better partner for this vision than Sarova Panafric. Born from the bold ambitions of Stelios Stylianides and inaugurated by Kenya's founding father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Sarova Panafric is more than a hotel. It's a symbol of Pan-African unity, cultural celebration, and visionary leadership. Just as the Power Dialogue Africa brings together trailblazers from across the continent to share ideas and ignite change, Saraba Panafric has for over 6 decades hosted presidents, pioneers, and patriots who shaped Africa's future. Today, it stands as a beacon of neo African elegance, blending rich tradition with modern comfort, all while championing sustainability and community empowerment. We are proud to partner with Sarova Panafric, a space where history meets innovation and where Africa's stories continue to be written. Here's to creating powerful dialogues in a venue that embodies the very spirit of our continent's rise.
I am Allan Matata. I am an African tech entrepreneur, and this is the Power Dialogue Africa.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you doing,
I
Zeddy?
am well. Karibu sana to the Power Dialogue Africa.
I am glad to be here.
Yes. I'm very familiar with your work as a professional and what you do. But for our audiences who are just coming about this conversation, please introduce yourself and why you're here today.
All right. I'm Allan Matata, CEO at ShopZetu. ShopZetu is a fashion e-commerce platform for Africa, founded by Wandia Gishuru, to help African designers reach a greater market and also to help the consumers discover African brands.
Yes. Thank you for that. And one thing that I really commend ShopZetu for is the AI-driven strategy, actually the tech-driven strategy. When you guys were coming up with ShopZetu, what problem did you see in the market that you're hoping that ShopZetu will come to answer, or what problem is ShopZetu solving currently?
All right. The main problem that we are solving is helping the brands to grow themselves and to reach a wider market. But again, same on the consumer side. For you to discover new African brands that are quality, we provide a platform where everything has been quality checked. So we've done the work for you and curated them so you can find them all in one place.
Thank you for that. And I know most startups struggle with visibility, struggle to get through their formative years. What exactly is ShopZetu or Vivo as a whole trying to support them? Because I know you have an array of about 7,000 brands, 7,000 products,
Yes.
and 200 brands. So how is that sustainable? Because I imagine you might be competing with some of the brands that you carry as alternative content. So how is that collaboration working out?
Yeah, so one of the best things about the platform is that sometimes the bigger brands will bring traffic and the small brands will actually benefit from this. Because as someone has come maybe to look for a specific brand that they recognize, they also discover other brands with things that they need. So it is a coexistence that works well because we have seen some brands go from very small, where someone is designing in their home, to having their own factory now because they've been given that platform to be able to sell their products, to reach a stage where their business grows. And this is what we want for every new brand or small brand that comes up, is to know that it's actually an advantage to be together with these other brands. Yes. And then we always market all of the new brands. We give them some special attention to help also the consumers to discover something new. And this is through our email marketing, through our social media marketing. We also do WhatsApp. Yes.
I'm very familiar with those
Right.
as a fashion lover. In your experience, Allan, I know you have seen a lot of this because of the collaboration that, the feeding off of the small brands from the big brands, and the big brands in this case are the ones that are very visible and such. What problems or mistakes have you noticed the smaller brands make, maybe that's typical of the Kenyan e-commerce sector, that are very recurrent, that startups or fashion brands that are coming up should work around to make them stand out more in the fashion and e-commerce sector in Kenya?
Yeah. So one of the mistakes that we do see that happens is when a brand has a bit of a trend going, when there is interest from consumers for a particular product that they're doing, um, they sometimes take this interest for granted. Whereas you need to do even more marketing at that time. At the time when people are showing the interest, you need to do more marketing, get a wider audience, and help your brand grow. So we have seen some brands take the interest for granted and don't want to do any marketing. And then when it's completely down and now there's no interest, is when it's actually harder to market at this time. It's more expensive for you to get your name known when maybe you don't have something trending. Yes.
So jumping on trends is what we
Yes.
should take advantage of.
Yes. And also just taking advantage of the interest when it's there. If people like a particular thing that you're doing, make even more noise about it. Don't take it for granted that the next product that you do, the noise will still be there. Yeah.
And how sustainable is that? Because I've seen local brands who are very sporty, for lack of a better word. So they jump on trends, but there's no sustainable continuity that they have. So they just wait on trends. And sometimes the trend doesn't even aga with their business. It's not in theme, it's not in line, but they just jump on them. How do we have an equilibrium between jumping on trends and actually having consistency in terms of brand positioning, in terms of visibility? How do startups and small businesses do that?
So I agree with you. First, jumping on trends is only good if it aligns with your business, or if you can find a way to make it align to your business. Because again, also, we have to look at the intelligence of our consumers. Myself as a buyer, I will see a business jumping on a trend, and if it's actually funny or maybe it's actually entertaining, if it actually resonates with what the business is doing, then it will bring interest. But it will have the opposite effect. If I see a brand just jumping on a trend, I get the opposite feeling. And I might not support the brand at that time because of this. So you're right about this. I think that people need to stay authentic to their brand identity. First is to define what you want to be. Once you've defined your brand identity, then you will know this trend is for us, and this trend is not for us. And we can let that trend go as we stick to our identity and wait for something that matches us or build our own. Yeah.
Just pivoting a bit from trends, one thing that I have read, that I have seen and experienced myself, is the lack of systems. Actually, systems. Most brands fail because of lack of systems. How is ShopZetu coming in to fill that gap? And is it the same that you have noticed from the startups that are coming to you to be on ShopZetu? Is it something that cuts across? Is it a common phenomenon?
It is. So what we do? So first, we are a startup ourselves, and so we've done a lot of mistakes and learnings, and we've documented this, and we are able to share this with the brands that come on ShopZetu. So each brand gets a dedicated vendor manager, and the vendor managers are able to advise the brand on what has worked on our platform before. On strategies to improve the business, to improve quality. But beyond that, we also have partners who we work with to give technical support to these brands. So, for example, business training, training on sourcing, training on stocking, marketing, all of the different aspects, especially for people who are just starting out, because you do have a lot of people who are extremely talented, maybe in the design, and they will need a lot of help to actually do the rest of the stuff, the running of the business, maintaining like stock levels, responding to demand, and building the systems, as you mentioned. And so this technical support is available to the vendors on ShopZetu.
Now, I'm a student of marketing. I've been something up with technology and the advancements that we are getting at this moment. And here in Kenya, there's something that I have noticed. I don't know if it's something that you have experienced, so I'll need you to speak to that.
Okay.
It's the use of technology and especially AI. There's this fear that AI is taking away jobs or it will replace people. So I've seen this hold back by most employees to implement or apply AI because they believe that it will take away their jobs. So how do we strike yet again an equilibrium in terms of applying AI? And I believe communication hasn't gone out in a proper way, because if employees know that AI, in my opinion, will serve to increase efficiency and also help them with their jobs, they will be more embracive of it than seeing it as a threat. Is AI a threat to the current workforce? And is there a way to make sure that we are still competitive as human beings, even as AI and tech becomes more advanced?
All right. So I feel more that AI is a tool that will lead to more employment, more opportunities, that will lead to even more entrepreneurs, which will create more jobs. I do feel that also in businesses, that the leadership of the business is responsible for communicating in the right way. Because as you ask, is it a threat? But if I come to a business and I say to employees that if you don't learn AI will replace you, it's a bit of a threat. The communication is find out about this tool or I'll replace you with it. And immediately the feeling for the person is that this thing can replace me. So there are jobs where AI can do better than humans, but it just means that humans can now be more productive and do more work. So I think of AI more like, say, Microsoft Word. For the people who are old enough, they'll know that at some point, people felt that computers are going to replace everybody. But in reality, it just meant that people needed to learn to use computers in order to work now. And that if you were resistant to this learning, it will be harder to get a job. So I feel it's the same with AI, that we should encourage each other to think of it as a tool rather than a threat of replacement, but a tool of advancement for all of us. It will advance the businesses, yes, but it will advance the individuals as well, yes.
Thank you for that. AI is a tool like Microsoft Word and the others.
Yes.
I'll take it as such. Alan, I would like for you to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe as consumers, the Kenyan market, we're very skeptical of things. We don't trust easily. We are very alert to being scammed and all. How has ShopZetu worked to ensure trust, reliability with its systems? Because I have seen changes in how the system operates, in that it's more secure, or it's more straightforward to do card payments and all, vis-a-vis cash on delivery, which was a very big thing a few years back for ShopZetu. So how has the company moved this behavioral shift from lack of trust to the trust that ShopZetu has now? How have you worked around that?
So I believe that trust is built by keeping promises, by not over-promising. So for example, if we say we will deliver in 3 days, and we deliver in 3 days, and we communicate while we are delivering, then the trust is built with the consumer, and they're willing to do it again. And then in terms of the payment, there is convenience for someone to actually pay in advance. For example, if you are at the office and you want something delivered at home, you don't want the logistics of coming out of a meeting to find out where have they reached, can I pay now? Or having someone have to pay for you. Or if there's no one at home, they can leave it with a guard, for example, because you've already paid in advance. But in order to get there, we have used technology, of course, to make things more secure. We have done upgrades to make it easier for someone actually to pay online, but we retain the option. So we would still give the choice to the consumer, what works for you. And it's just happening that more and more it's becoming more convenient for our buyers to pay in advance. Yes.
I should probably have started with this question. How much of your business does depend on technology? How much have you automated, and how important is technology to the advancement of your strategy and your business performance at ShopZetu?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So for us, technology is absolutely critical to every aspect of our business. From the way we do marketing to the way we take care of the stock, how to track the stock, to know where things are, to know how things are moving. And the advancement of technology for us is a great opportunity. So we look at things like AI. We are piloting, for example, right now on our website, an AI chatbot is live there. Because it will be people who are, for example, buying at midnight will be able to get a little bit of assistance while we are not actually in the office, for example, right? So all of the different advancements in technology are things that we are very focused on. So we keep evolving, and we see technology as a core of the business. Yeah.
Allan, you've previously talked about clothes being more than just clothes, being identity, being narratives. How does ShopZetu work to make sure that African stories and narratives are communicated, are respected in a global marketplace that doesn't seem to be really keen on this?
Yeah, so our first focus is to build the pride at home. By giving African consumers access to modern clothing made in Africa. That's the number one, is to build the respect and the pride here. So we did a survey recently, and as one of our customers, I'm sure you got this.
I did.
You got this email. And in the survey, one of the questions was, why do you shop at ShopZetu? And we had about 7 options and other things. And the top one that came back was supporting Kenyan and African brands. So this is something also we want to build, that pride that you can get quality fashion made here, right? You can support African brands where you get the quality back, where you're spending your money, but it's not for charity. It's an exchange of value. So putting this value in it. And so one of the things that's really, really important to us, every time a brand comes, like we do a quality check, and if they do not meet the quality, we give the feedback and we say, these are the things that you can do to improve, and then you can come back. When our customers maybe, because sometimes we do miss something, and our customers say, this thing was not good quality, we give that feedback again to the designers or the owner of the brand and say, this particular product that you made, it doesn't mean that your brand is not good quality, but this particular product that you made, the feedback we're getting is the fabric is not good, or this something about it is not good. So giving that opportunity to improve so that it's always an exchange of value. I think at the moment, we still put a lot of value on brands that are not ours, right? And I think that slowly we can build this, but we have to make sure on both sides people are getting value. It's not just I'm supporting African brands, I'm getting value back. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'd like to know how many, in terms of product variety and availability. There was someone I was talking to, and they say that it's very sad that Africa, you rarely get socks made in Africa, made in Kenya, boxers, innerwear. It's very difficult. And most of the time, we see that these are imported items and they're resold to us. In terms of us being sustainable in a way that we can make things end to end. What can I say? What developments have you seen in that front? Are we able to make the most intimate items for ourselves? Has there been a shift in the recent years in terms of a provision of this and local brands just stepping to the fore, because things like toothpicks, matchboxes, those are things we should import, and same applies to fashion and jewelry and clothes. What shifts have you seen to make us more, say, sustainable from end to end?
So I fully agree with you, actually, that in fact, I feel that there is a gap there. We don't really have a lot of brands focused on this. We do have brands that are focusing more on like the basics things that
Why?
people need. Sorry?
Why?
Why are people not?
Yeah.
So because I think there are a couple of different reasons. One is people don't see it as a huge opportunity, right? However, it is a big opportunity if you can provide consistent quality. It would take time to build up like the respect and the brand and the knowing of this. However, I do know of some brands that are focused now on things like socks within Kenya. They're making them abroad, but they're branded. It is a Kenyan brand, and I hope that in the future that they will be able to produce them here as they build also the brand and brand reputation, because it is a gap that exists that is not actually being taken care of from here mostly. We do have plants in Ethiopia and in Tanzania where foreign companies are making these basics and then labeling them and then selling them back to us. Yes.
Why not here?
Why not us making
Yes.
them? People have not seen the opportunity or do not see it as a huge opportunity yet.
Does it mean they put on more socks than us?
No, it is a gap. So I would say, Zeddy, if you want to take over this gap,
Please don't compete with me. I'll win.
there is a gap here.
Yeah. I will try that because I'm very focused on tech and what it can do for us. How ShopZetu using technology, say AI, blockchain, to empower designers and the small businesses that collaborate with ShopZetu.
All right. So for us, it's when we look at AI, we think mostly about our own platform. So for the designers, there's a lot that they can do on their own, right? They can have AI helping them, for example, recreate designs or inspiration for different designs. Or, however, for us, it's taking away those things that that a designer shouldn't have to focus on. for example, having like the descriptions on the websites and things like that. We're building AI to do that for them. So we look at it for us as a platform thing, but we do encourage every small business that it doesn't have to be, AI doesn't have to be your core. You can use it, for example, to help you organize things. It doesn't actually have to be your designer, for example. You can continue to do your designs, but to do your paperwork that you need to do as a business, you can get AI to speed up these processes. So I would say for a small company, start small. Use AI to help you build marketing strategies. We were talking about these. We don't have a lot of systems. You can use AI to help build a system. You can describe your business and say, there is this part of my business. What would be the most efficient system for me to get this done? And just the design of the system will help your business grow. So I would say, like, you don't have to manipulate AI. Again, back to using it as a tool. Yes.
I know ShopZetu is a very complex integration of sorts. That is fashion, that is technology, that's a marketplace.
Yes.
And I remember us having this discussion and how COVID turned things around. So you could speak to what made Vivo really turn this way into a technology-led business, and what gains has a company realized, some of the gains that you have realized, moving from mortar, wall and mortar, to being a technology-driven company, because I assume there are less people in terms of a workforce and what have you. But what are the gains that we normally don't talk about that the business has realized in the turnaround to a different strategy?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is a really good question.
Yeah.
And even the assumption that you make that there are less people, actually, there are more people.
How come?
Because technology actually creates jobs rather than takes jobs away, right? So yes, ShopZetu was born out of Vivo to go online, but to also give other brands an opportunity to be online and to reach more customers. And what you will find is that actually the online business doesn't actually compete with the malls for the same customer. It's actually looking at a different type of shopper, or a different moment of shopping, right? Where someone is actually looking for convenience, and they're different from the shopper who actually really wants to go to the shop.
To the malls.
To the malls and try out everything,
Yeah.
and spend time in the malls. So both sides have actually grown together, and they're continuing to grow together. So in the end, going online just means you are able to access more people. It means that people in areas where there is no shop for your brand will be able to still buy from you. But the people coming to your shop will continue to come to your shop. So I would say for brands that want to come online,
Yes.
to not think about it as we're going to go online and so it will be easier for us to sell to people. We don't even need to pay rent anymore. I would say think of it as a new shop. Hire people for this new shop. Try to grow both of them at the same time. Keep your brick and mortar selling, because there are people that love this also. And this way, what you're doing is you're earning more income as a brand. You're able to create more jobs, so you're good for your society and the place that you're in. And so this has been the experience for the Vivo Fashion Group with the online. It's like another shop. And it's not even a reason to not open more shops, right? Because it's just giving us access to more people, Some of these people do not have access to the malls. some of these people do have access to the malls, but they just don't buy there.
So is it the increment in workforce? Is it to serve the malls? The increment in the
The
outlets?
increment in workforce?
Yes.
No, it's to build up the online and to run the online side of the business.
So even with tech, you can have more
Yes.
workers. Interesting.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I think the aim should always be to build up your community. So for us, like probably the number one impact is through our vendors, giving them the opportunity to grow. Then they hire more people. And so we have that effect on the community. But also for ourselves, as the business grows, we need more riders. We need more, we need a bigger warehouse because more brands are coming to us. And so we need more people in the warehouse. So in the end, I like to think of technology as an opportunity to grow, even to grow jobs. Yeah.
It's a very noble thing ShopZetu is doing by bringing more vendors and supporting them in the ways that you have mentioned in terms of skills, analysis, and data, which is very important because data drives everything. I'd love to know your views around collaboration because I've seen a lot of competition. I don't believe the fashion market is saturated. Some people do. How do you view collaboration versus competition, and how you actively working towards either of them at ShopZetu?
All right. So you and I are two very competitive people, and I would say that competition drives you forward. So I personally like competition because it does drive me forward. I also think that collaboration is a little bit underrated, right? We don't get to see enough collaboration, I would say, in fashion brands. However, like I have seen some collaboration, like for example, Safari by Vivo and Chic and Chiki's collection. These types of collaborations are usually very successful because you're bringing together two different styles and you're creating something completely new, or you're complementing each other in different ways. So we do have we do have great opportunity for collaboration, but I would like to see more of it. I don't think we see enough collaboration as of now. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I believe I see so much value in the way ShopZetu has transformed over the years, because I started with the brand at inception and I've seen the changes, and it's very commendable.
Wow.
Props, flowers to you for that. And I have also noticed a lot of women-led businesses come onto the platform. Is this intentional, or is it just a fluke? You just have more women founders coming onto ShopZetu.
All right. So in Kenya, majority of the fashion designers are women. And I would say that it's both intentional and it's actually just something that has naturally happened. Again, I'll go back to Wandia, who is the founder of ShopZetu, founded the Vivo brand in Kenya, which took a lot of years of pain and suffering and growth. And so she didn't want other brands to go through the same pains for marketing, the same pains for how to deliver a product, the same pains for how do I access people outside of Nairobi. So these are the reasons actually for founding the brand. And then now it becomes natural that the people who needed this help do find this platform and come and sign up. But we do actively look for them as well, right? So if you're a fashion designer and you're watching this episode, please get in touch with us on our website. we have a tab right at the top asking you to join and be a vendor on
Sell
our
with
platform.
us.
Yes, sell with us. So we do actually actively look for them as well. And what we look for is the best designers. And some of them are men, majority of them are women. Yeah.
So the criteria is best designers? Is that all?
So the criteria, there is some criteria because our customers like yourself have high standards. So number one is the quality. We have to do a quality check. The second thing is an ability to provide sizes, if it's something that's not free size, to provide different sizes. And another thing is just the ability to provide a certain amount of stock. And when we meet people and they are not at this size yet, we either give them the advice. Sometimes what we do is we sign them up on some of our programs that actually help people to grow their business from a situation where they only have this one product that they've designed to a situation where they have enough to sell on the platform. And this support comes through different partners that we have. One of them with the MasterCard Foundation. So it's providing technical support, providing financial support, providing business advice, providing trainings as well. So we don't say like, oh, you're too small, don't come. We just say you're not ready yet, but we can help you get ready.
You upskill them.
Yes, okay. Or we can advise you on how to get ready. So there's those options. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I believe with 200 brands and the partners, for example, the one you've mentioned, how do you ensure that you remain inclusive? How do you ensure inclusivity remains at the core of your business?
So it is something we struggle with because yes, you have quite a large number of brands, and so what we do is we build systems, and our systems are like, for example, if somebody has brought something new in, we give it priority, for example, for marketing and things like that. So we have a couple of different systems to help us try and bring everyone to the front. But we do face challenges doing it as well. And as we continue to grow, we are hoping to find more and more different ways to help everyone get to see each brand as an individual brand, as well as a marketplace of different brands. In the meantime, what we focus on is ensuring that we have enough traffic that all of the brands are benefiting from this. Yeah.
I usually feel like the newer brands are usually more visible than the ones that have sales. So please balance them out so that I'm also a seller there. I may not be new or have sales, but I want to be seen.
Yes.
But I believe the upskilling will also help me. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah. And when a brand is not new, they can still bring new arrivals or new products in, or a new style, and then we give them priority again. Also, we do give advice and we do help in marketing. So we have a studio ourselves, and at this studio, our vendors get preferred rates for creating content, because we do know that creating content is expensive. Hiring models is expensive. Hiring videographers and photographers is expensive. And so we subsidize these costs to the brands on our platform. So they don't have to hire a model. What happens is we will hire the models. We have the photographers ourselves, and we will charge them what is a subsidized rate for the content that is being created. And for the sellers on our platform, when they make good content in terms of that can be advertised, we boost it as well for them. Yeah.
Hey, why am I not a seller there? I should come already. Seems too good to be true, but it is true. That's for sure.
Yes, it is.
Because ShopZetu is driven by data, I love to know from your knowledge, what are some of the peculiar habits that we have as Kenyan online shoppers or Africans, because I know ShopZetu serves a couple more countries than just Kenya. You can speak to that. But what are the peculiar habits that you have caught on, advised by how we shop online?
Um, so I would say I wouldn't want to class it as peculiar, but sometimes like there is maybe a design of a dress, for example, that will sell like it will be like it's a trend for maybe a whole month. And this one dress like will be bought by so many people, and so for me it's usually a little bit peculiar, you know. It's like I'm like, why is everyone buying this? Why is this product at the top of our charts? Because we do look at the numbers and see which categories are selling, which items are selling, and sometimes it's a particular item.
Is it not attributed to marketing?
So I would say yes, to some extent. But was actually happening at this time is the whole brand was being marketed, and the brand had very many different designs and different dresses. Um, but this particular one was just,
The
it
one.
kept selling
I hope they restocked quickly so
for
that
a
they
whole
jumped on
month.
the trend.
Yes. Yeah, they did have to restock this design,
Yeah.
and because it just kept on selling. Yeah, I wouldn't want to call uh, anything about our customers peculiar, so I'll stick to this one thing. This is the only peculiarity that I've seen and wondered, like,
It was just
and
a hot cake at its time.
yes, and and it's not very. It doesn't look very different to the others. So it's peculiar to me, and it was peculiar to my team. Like you know, we are still trying to figure out why this happened, but we were happy, of course.
Very happy. I will also be
Yes,
very happy.
yeah.
Alan, most local entrepreneurs struggle with funding because you have learned from your mistakes, your downfalls, not downfalls, things that didn't go well, and your wiser, better, more experience. What would you advise younger founders who are trying to get into this space? What should they do?
Okay. So I think also it depends on the type of business. If it's a tech business, and you believe that it's the right time to go out and look for funding, the advice I would give is to realize that your investors are going to become like partners in the business. Um, and one of the things that I have experienced in the past in other business is having investors with very different goals. Um, maybe one investor is thinking about a path to profitability, and another investor is thinking about let's spend more, grow more, go faster. So I think like first is be very intentional about defining where you think your business should go. So you are the one in the control. So when you do go out looking for funding, the whatever, if it's a venture capital company, if it's an individual, an angel investor, wherever you're going to get the funding, that they're buying into your idea rather than buying equity and telling you now do these things this way. So that's one thing I think, like, especially when someone is starting out, maybe there's not enough money. There is a desperation to
Yes,
get
yes.
some money in. um, and for startups it's very hard because like I've seen I've had friends who've had to like shut down an office and, like sell all the furniture, tell people to go home, right? And it's very, very difficult for a founder to admit defeat. So there is that desperation at that time. And at that time, someone can be convinced to sign off on ideas which they don't believe in. So I'm personally a very stubborn, or I've grown to be very stubborn about the direction. And once you have a direction and you know that it will work, keep that focus and bring in partners who understand and believe in this idea with you. And of course, they can enhance your idea, but it shouldn't be like they fold away, they crumple up your idea and say, this is what you're doing now because
Just
we're giving you
them.
money.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, realizing that your investors are going to be partners is, I think, very important. Yeah.
You have spoken like someone who has been in the lion's den. Was that the Shark Tank version of Kenya? Which one dear was it? You sound like one of them there, telling people, what's your vision? What's your strategy? Stick to it.
So funny enough, Zeddy, I have been on Lion's Den.
Oh, you have?
But not as a judge. I was actually there pitching.
Oh. Is that how you came to be on ShopZetu?
Pitching for money? No, it's not how I came to be on ShopZetu. But however, Wandia was one of the judges on Lion's Den when I was pitching. But this was for a different company a couple of years ago.
It's a very small world.
Yes. So it's funny you should say that. But no, they should call me to be the judge next season.
You have simmered enough. You have gone full circle if you come back as a judge. Allan, as mobile shopping evolves, as digital payments mature in Africa, what do you believe is the future of fashion retail in Africa? And what can you advise founders and small businesses and even medium businesses to adapt to so that they can evolve and still remain competitive in this market?
I think it's to be open-minded to the changes that will come and that are coming. For example, for us, we look at, for example, AI, and we realize that maybe we need to be prepared now for a time where maybe people will use AI to discover products, use AI to actually do the purchase of products, and so we are taking that, we are having that open-mindedness that this might not happen today, but we need to be prepared now, or to have that vision at the back of our mind, where we are thinking, how do we make sure our platforms are ready? And then for people who are building something new, see how you can use AI to help you build it. See how it can be a co-creator with you, because the technology will evolve very, very, very quickly. And you don't want to be building something that's for the past, that when it's ready, it's already obsolete.
Absolute.
Yes.
I've actually seen that scalability is such a challenge, because by the time you scale, something else has come up and you end up redundant with whatever you have. Is that a challenge that you guys face?
I would say it's a challenge everyone.
Sawa, usiseme basi.
Yes, I would say I think everyone who is in any business, anything that you're working on, the future can change. The landscape can change.
It's very dynamic.
Yes.
Now.
And the market can change, and the consumer behavior can change. So I would say it is a challenge that we face, and how we handle this challenge is we try to keep learning. We look at also, I think one of the advantages for Africa being a so-called third world is sometimes we can see some things happening in other markets, and then they will happen 2 to 3 years later or 5 years later in Africa. So we do this as well. We look at how things are happening in different markets around the world, and try to say, okay, do you think that this can happen here? What is the likelihood? Yeah.
Okay. From your experience, Alan, what do you believe what do you wish people would understand more in terms of AI and African fashion from the vantage point that you have, that we can see where the direction of trends and everything is going? What do you feel that is most understood or we can understand better about Africa fashion and AI?
So in terms of, I would say that how AI will affect African fashion. There is a couple of different ways. I think like we mentioned about designers. If designers are able to make new, unique designs faster, because the fashion market in Africa is huge. I don't want to give the numbers so that our competitors jump in, but
You're not being collaborative at this point.
but it's extremely huge. The potential is there to make billion-dollar businesses within Africa, having only African consumers. The potential is there to have brands which are made and grow within Africa and become global brands. This potential is there. And I would say that we need to speed up. So we talk a lot about maybe how AI can take jobs and all these things. But I think the focus should be, how can it help us move faster in the things that we want to do? Because we talk about, again, the market's changing. But if you're able to gain flexibility by building on multiple fronts, you're able to go faster and farther. Yeah.
That's true. I'm just curious, how big is ShopZetu? Because 7,000 products is quite a lot, even if your competitors are listening to this. Do you consider yourself like among the top ones in terms of access when it comes to fashion and e-commerce? Where do you rank yourself in Africa? Just curious.
All right. So we would rank ourselves as the top.
Of course you would.
Like you were very
objectively speaking.
Like you were very competitive, and we would rank ourselves as the top fashion e-commerce platform. However, we would say that we are the top in East Africa.
For sure.
There are others. I won't name them, but there are one or two others that we look at that are also growing. But again, like we talked about, collaboration sometimes is underrated. We actually want them to grow because when they grow, they're proving a concept. They're proving that what we believe in is true, right? When you see someone is successful in selling shoes and you're a shoemaker, actually they're proving your concept that it's good to keep making shoes.
It,
yes, they're validating it. And so so yes, we do aim to be the top, but we also see the opportunities of collaboration. For example, we were talking about trends. We hold quite a lot of data, and some of these other platforms do have data, and there is an opportunity to collaborate on the data side of things, where we could create a trend book together, which covers the whole of Africa.
Munite ni commission your trend book. I am available.
Yes, you can be the lead.
Thank you. I've booked that spot.
You can be the lead for this project. But that's an opportunity for collaboration, where this information is important not only for the platforms, it's actually important for the fashion designers for them to think about how does what I'm creating fall into the different trends that are happening, into the demand that is coming, into the seasonality that is happening. So for the vendors we have on our platform, we try and also advise them based on the past data that we have. But this will sell well in these months, and this will sell well. But the more data we have collectively as a continent would be valuable to every designer, every fashion designer that's around.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'd like to pivot a bit to your personal life, because I believe there is so much learning from failures and setbacks.
Yeah.
Is there a setback or a challenge in your life that taught you so much more than any success that you consider grand has ever taught you?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because I do feel there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of learning in failure. And then I would say for people who found or run businesses, that your professional and personal life intertwine a lot, right? Like, for example, for you running this podcast, how do you separate it completely from your personal life? It's a little bit difficult. So I would say one of the failures that I learned from was when building a business. We were building a platform for marketing events, and our clients were doing yearly events, except for one big client who was doing an event every 2 months, and we had a lot of reliance on this one big client. And then when this one big client faced some challenges, we faced a lot of cash flow challenges. So it was me and another founder working together on this business. And like my co-founder, he was like, oh, let's just keep pushing. Like we'll get over the hump and all these things. And I had just my son had just been born like a few years before, like 2 years before, and so I was like, okay, I actually don't think that this is sustainable, and we had to shut it down, right? Which was very difficult for me. But one thing we learned going into the future is we need to not rely, build a business completely on one client. We need to have that versatility to be able to survive if our big clients have an issue. Yeah.
Is it something around diversification?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was the lesson. Learned the hard way.
And what is your stranger than fiction story? I know Wendy was your judge. Now she's your employer. But another one that is very strange but true.
A strange but true story. So there is a very strange story. I used to work for a tea broker in Mombasa.
What do tea brokers do?
Tea brokers. Oh, so they...
Is it like a tea auction?
Yes. So all the tea in East Africa goes through a tea brokerage, tea brokerages, and then they go through the auction in Mombasa. So I was working for one of the tea brokers as a tech guy, and while I was in Mombasa, I had some struggles in the first days, and one of my close friends did quite a lot to help me out, and then she introduced me to someone, and this person she introduced to me, he was a founder. His name is Munyutu Waigi. So we became friends. We started watching football together. I won't say the team because your team here doesn't like that team. But
team, please do better.
but we would watch football together. We became friends basically. And but
Ilikuwa ile team ya baba.
No. And so as we became friends, I found out that he had gone to a birthday party in London years ago. We had gone to the same party. We didn't know each other at all.
In London?
Yes. We had been to the same birthday party of a guy who, he was a musician. And so we, just through our talks, we found out, we were in the same place at the same time years ago. And then he gave me my first job in a startup. In Munyutu. Yes, he was one of the founding team for Ringie Kenya, and he was like, yeah, come to Nairobi. There's this opportunity. Again, I was like, I am not into taking risks anymore. I've just had a son, But he convinced me, and it was like probably one of the best decisions of my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it was it was a crazy coincidence that we were somehow connected randomly in all these different places. Yeah. So I always take these coincidences as signs that you're headed in the right direction. Yeah.
I'll also take mine as signs. I'd love to know, because we believe at the Power Dialogue Africa that every conversation can spark change. What are 3 lessons that you can leave us with from this conversation?
Number 1, I would say, because we spoke a lot about AI, is do think about it as a tool. And do think about it as a tool that you need to practice how to use, and you can practice it at home. You can practice it with your own side projects, but even practice it in your work. I would say that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is, if you're an African founder of anything, be proud of this and make it known. Be proud of your brand. Make it known that you stand for quality, because, as I told you from the survey, consumers actually want to see you succeed, but they just want to get the value back. So show people that the value that you bring to the table. I would say that's for the founders. And then the very last one is, if you're watching this podcast, please share it. Because you are again supporting an African founder. Yeah.
Me. Thank you, Allan. I'd love to know which African, not really African, which thinker, which movie, who among people, maybe books, authors, has had the greatest impact on your life and how you approach life as a professional on a personal level? Who would you give so much credit to? I think a book, maybe a movie.
Okay. Does it have to be African?
No, it doesn't.
So a book I would say is Elif Shafak, 40 Rules of Love.
Of love.
Yes, 40 Rules of Love. I would advise everybody to read this book. Just about it's actually just about life and being a good person. But it's also a novel, so it is a story. There's a lot of poetry in it. If you like poetry. If you are starting a business and are looking for more for like business types of advice, the book I would recommend is Radical Focus. I forget the author, but I think like it's I think a lot of people, myself included, especially in the past, would sometimes lose focus on the direction that I want to take and the goals that I want to achieve, because along the way you will find bumps. Um, so I would say radical focus is really good for helping you to stay clear even when things get a bit muddled on the hard days. And also on the good days, not getting too excited and forgetting to.
After you've acquired love.
Yes, but yes, 40 Rules of Love is my top recommendation for everybody. I would like everybody to read this book.
And what are you most grateful for
Oh,
today?
oh, I would say every single day I'm grateful for life. But the thing that I'm most grateful for is any opportunity to help others grow. Because I believe the biggest impact that we can make as individuals is to grow each other. And I believe that you have given me this opportunity to share what I know, and I hope that it will help somebody somewhere grow. Not only fashion brands, we care about everyone, but especially
socks makers,
yes,
boxer makers,
especially fashion founders.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a business called Socks Box in Kenya, completely focused on socks.
They make very nice socks.
Oh, you know them?
Yes, I've bought their socks.
Yes.
I love their
so
socks.
there are people thinking about socks.
I'll join them.
There are people thinking about
Yes.
socks. So someone needs to do the boxes.
For sure.
Yes.
Though someone has told us not to wear tight things, the doctor.
Okay.
So we're trying to acclimatize to this new experience.
Loose boxes.
Yes, loose boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to bring it home, Allan, what's
Yeah.
the most African thing about you? And what's your favorite destination in Africa?
What is the most African
thing about you?
Ooh, I would say my name Matata. Yes. Yeah. Fortunately or unfortunately, because of Lion King,
Oh, okay.
my name Matata is recognized quite all around the world.
So when you introduce yourself, do people immediately know you're from? Okay, I will imagine they'll know you're from Africa, but do they know Kenya, or they just identify it with Africa?
Oh, so I'm not actually Kenyan, but I'll leave that mystery. I leave, but they do associate with Kenya mostly
because it sounds Swahili.
Yes,
it is Swahili actually.
Yes, and the second question was
your favorite destination in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
This is where we know where you come from. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Wow. So
is it Tanzania? You were so emotional about losing the Tanzanian flag. I can place you now.
I do love Tanzania, and I do love Uganda. I do love West Africa too. Oh my God.
Not Kenya.
In fact, the issue that I have is that my favorite destination is in Naivasha.
Yes, thank you. Yes. That's good enough.
Sanctuary farm where you get to ride horses with the wildlife. This is my favorite.
In Naivasha.
This is in Naivasha. This is actually my favorite destination in Africa. So yeah, I find it. It's like it sounds biased. But there's quite a lot in Kenya. And so, yeah, Naivasha Sanctuary Farm. Again, like the book, I would recommend it to everyone.
I will definitely be trying out. I didn't know about it.
Yeah, so you can horse ride. You can horse ride.
Do you need to be experienced in horse riding? Or
no, you don't. No, you don't. They can just walk you. And people can actually walk or drive in the park. But I think like it's a unique experience.
It surely is.
Yeah.
Any parting shots for our audience and myself, of course?
Yes. I would like to gift some ShopZetu vouchers to your audience through you. So you will advise them what they need to do.
For sure.
And then we will gift some shopping vouchers so that you can experience and support these African brands that we've been talking about today.
Yes. Looking forward. Thank you, Allan, for making time and for joining us today.
Thanks as well. This has been a lovely experience.
Karibu sana.
All right.
Yeah. Allan Matata's story reminds us that Africa doesn't lack creativity. It just needs better systems to support it. Here's proof that technology isn't here to replace us. It's here to amplify us. For every young Kenyan brand trying to break through, for every small business wondering how to stand out, remember this. You win by showing up. You win by collaborating. You win by learning the tools, not fearing them. As more than 23 million Kenyans come online every day, platforms like ShopZetu remind us that the future of African businesses isn't imported. It's being built right here by us. If this conversation inspired you or challenged you in any way, please hit subscribe before you go. It helps us keep amplifying African excellence and bringing you stories that fuel your own journey to greatness. I am Zeddy Bariti, and this is the Power Dialogue Africa, where bold ideas meet brave hearts, and every story reminds us that Africa is not the future. We are the now.